Okay, welcome everyone. It is I, John Bartholomew, back as usual for a live stream. It is Thursday, June 30th, 2016, last day of the month. We're heading into July in just one day, so I hope everyone's summer plans are in order. I've got a lot of relaxing going on, some busyness as well. I'm going to be teaching some chess camps and traveling a little bit, but a lot of relaxing too. That's what the summer is for, right? And the stream is live. How's it going, Sean? Miles, Aaron, Fred, Ahmed, Craig, Sam, Zoltan, Lars, Anton? What's up? Yeah, I did get a haircut the other day. You guys like it? It's nice and short. Summer cut, right? The summer is not a time for long hair. Not that my hair is long anyways. Yes, I did promise a live stream, as Sean pointed out, this week. And this might not be the only one this week. I might do another one towards the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Hello, Kurt, Nick, Emil, Pure Cheese. Even though you always say I ignore you, Pure Cheese, that's not true. I see you, buddy. Edgar, Rick. Hope everyone's having a good day. So I named this the Euro-friendly stream because I am streaming a little earlier than usual. It's currently 3 o'clock p.m. Central U.S. time, which puts it at 9 or 10 o'clock p.m. in Europe. So I hope you Europeans are falling asleep to the sweet sounds of my voice and the strength of my chess play, the pure brilliance of my 3-minute play on ICC. And with that, let's get into a game right away. I have Grandmaster Kippy in the first game. I've been playing a lot of e4, so let's stick to that and just see how it works. Maybe I'll even play the advanced variation. And I will play a line that I recommend on Chessable, which is h4. Because I don't believe I played this line on my channel yet. When I say recommend on Chessable, I actually mean I analyzed it on Chessable in one particular repertoire, the E4 Traps repertoire. So I think it's an alright line. Lots of GMs play it. Okay, so maybe bishop g5. Let's try to send the bishop out there and utilize this pin. I think trading the light square bishops is wise. We're keeping black a little tied down right now. So I do like that. Now, if we move the knight, I think I like that because if castles, we can get the knight into d6. He does play the knight there, but okay, let's say we castle now. Maybe a3 just to stabilize the position. Make sure his knight can't jump into b4. I think he does have to get rid of our bishop, so I think that's a smart idea by him. Let's play g3, another stabilizing move. And he castles short. I feel like maybe, yeah, let's put this rook on d1. I might want to play on the queen side, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So let's take aim at this guy over on h5. See what we can come up with there. So take, or something else. Maybe knight c5 is interesting. Let's try knight c5. Attack the queen, just see where he goes. I expect queen c7. Grandmaster Kippy. This is Dejan Pekula, the Serbian Grandmaster. Oh, before I forget, Sean had a fantastic name for the plant. Remember last time, one of the last streams, I introduced you to one of my pets? Yeah, he said I should name this guy, what was it? Alohin Vera. So Alochine Vera, because it's an aloe plant, of course. I thought that was very, very clever. Sean, I think you win that competition for naming the aloe. Okay, let's take on e7. I might send the knight into g5. Yeah, this looks correct. So I'm hitting the pawn on h5, probably compelling him to play g6 to stabilize. Let's put the rook up to d3. This is a battle of knights. We've got all the knights on the 5th rank. And that one I missed. I missed that he could do that. It was a mistake by me. Bummer. That's an important pawn lost, that d4 pawn, because now his knight is extremely well placed on d5. Not like the pawn on d4 mattered with that, but I did not want to lose a pawn. Oh, and he hits me again. Very nice. Yeah, that's crushing. If I take with the pawn... No, I can take this way. What am I talking about? Just take with the rook. He almost convinced me that that move was good. What a weird series of events right here. Okay, I'm going in for the kill. We don't care about the b pawn. I'm looking for rook takes f7. Sometimes that happens in chess. You blunder, and then your opponent blunders even bigger than you do. It doesn't happen so much at IM-GM level, but as you just saw, it's a very real thing. I can take here, right? Just making sure. Yeah, I think he's got to take on d7 if I capture here. We're going into a very favorable endgame. Yeah, he just resigned. Oh, we pick up that first game. He had a nice petite combinación with knight takes d4, removing the defender of the knight on c5. So hitting my queen on e2, removing the defender. Take here, here. And he played that move so fast and confidently, he almost convinced me that it was working. I thought, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Pawn takes f4, rook takes d4, black wins in exchange. But no, in fact, I can just take with the rook, and my queen remains defending the rook on d1. I also saw if I moved my queen somewhere, so you imagine if queen e4, he can play rook takes d4, and then even queen takes d4 there, and lure me into a fork on e2. So it nearly works, if not for that at the end. GM's blunder too. How's it going, Knight Schnaps? He says, I will participate in the Paris Championship next week in the open section, 1400, open B section, 1400 to 1800. Do you have some advice for me? Get lots of sleep, work on your calculation and your openings leading up to the event. That's the best advice I can offer. Don't stress yourself out too much during play. The games enough will be stressful. How's the audio and video sound? Or how does the video look? How does the audio sound? Everyone good? Just want to make sure before I fire up this next game. I've never had someone kick me underneath the table, at least not on purpose. Inadvertently, maybe, but... Arab, I tried to make this as Euro-friendly as possible. Maybe 2 hours earlier would have been even better, but hopefully this allows some of you to watch it, at least. Some people are already asleep, I know, but... All right, audio video is good. That's my cue to start another game. Let's do this. What have I been up to in the past few days? I played golf yesterday with my dad, which was a really good time. It was a beautiful day here in Minnesota, and my dad is a good golfer, and he asked if I wanted to go out and play 9 holes. And I had not picked up a golf club in about 2 years. I used to play a lot more when I was younger, and also a little bit in high school and after college and stuff like that. But I hadn't played around for quite a while. Like last summer, didn't play whatsoever. So my expectations weren't very high rather, going into the round. But I did okay. I made solid contact with the ball. I was hitting it well off the tee, driving well. My dad played really well. He was even on the 9 that we played. 3 birdies, 3 pars, 3 bogeys, and he was very pleased with that, understandably. So we're going to have to play again soon. He was fired up, and I'm kind of fired up as well, because golf is really fun. I always enjoy playing golf. Okay, let's play bishop e7. I think I'll play h6 just to make sure that my light square bishop can always drop back. White did play this early queen b3, attacking the pawn on b7. And he's going for e4 with this move. Guaranteed he's trying to set this up. So let's take there. And then probably knight bd7 on the next move. I guess he can put the bishop on f4 and maybe claim a small edge. Let's take once. I might even take again. I'm thinking about playing bishop g5 after that, strangely enough. Does e5 work at all? e5 looks weird. I don't think that's correct. Point is, he's getting in knight d6 on the next move, so I may have to resort to some radical stuff to deal with that. I kind of want to go bishop g5 here, but let's play rook d8 first. White has the bishop pair and more space, so he should be a little bit better right now. I'm going to stab on the queen side, try to go for a4, see if I can induce some concession out of him. a5 fits very, very well with this structure, pawns on c6 and b7. I'm not sure, Ryan. I want to go to New York for the World Championship. That's my goal, to get that in. But I'm not completely sure when I'll be able to go beyond that. The World Championship is coming up soon. It's in November. And I presume it's still in New York. They haven't announced the venue or anything yet, but I would think it's still there. Okay, so we're just repeating for a second. I want to see what he's up to. If he's going to go back to f4 or whatnot. Okay, he does that. Well, all right, I guess I'll take. And then play g6. Whoa. In-between move kills me again. Okay, well, let's let him mate us. King f8, queen h8 mate. Completely overlooked the fact that he could do that. Okay, still getting warmed up here, clearly. Took on e5, just expecting him to recapture, but no, queen h7. Got to shake out the cobwebs. Yeah, my position was a little unpleasant too, though. I think I misplayed it in the opening. I probably should not go for bishop f5. I think the critical test of this whole line is taking on c4 and just grabbing the pawn. Because he displayed some nice play after this, especially with queen b3, and then going for e4. Hey, happens sometimes. The Finn's FAQ is not in the description. I did forget to put that in. So, Anton, if you don't mind pasting that, that would be great. Thank you, Anton. All right, let's play another one here. I lost 24 rating points on that game. That was brutal against Waki. I so wanted a perfect session today. It's not going to happen. This is the type of mistake I make pretty frequently. I wish I did this less often, but I'll make a move, usually a capture. And when this happens, you assume your opponent is going to recapture, especially if it's just a piece-for-piece trade. Like, you just have it in your head that, okay, we're going to get a recapture, and then we're going to play the position after that. For some reason, queen h7 didn't even cross my mind in the split second I had here. Those are the breaks. Hello, Kareem. The title of this stream was not a dig at the UK, I promise you that. And not a commentary on the Brexit thing. Sure, Aitor. Thanks for watching, Philippe. Sarambi is next. This player has a high rating. 2,500 in 3 minute. Who is this? I am from the US. They are anonymous. Okay, let's play another one of these advanced variations. Why not? If allowed, right? I'll go h4 again. Get some practice in with this line. Okay, g4 is the move. And I think bishop d7 is the best move, if I recall. He's going to bait my... Okay, I'm going to play the knight out here. I know pawn f3 could be played, but he's going to go back to h7 in that case. So let's just see what he has in mind. Maybe just bishop d3. Offer a trade. You could try to keep this bishop here and be annoying, but now he just decides to trade. And then go h5. Okay, I think I should take that probably. Gives a check. Let's just develop. He's doing some funky trade. Let's do this. I don't want to trade. I'm not going to castle kingside, so I don't mind avoiding the trade. So if rook takes h5, I have some ideas with like the knight jumping up to g5, for instance, is one plan. Let's just develop. Maybe threaten to take on c5. Funky position already. Puts the knight on c6. So I could grab this pawn, but perhaps there's something better. Knight g5 catches my eye. Taking definitely possible. Let's try this. I'm kind of looking at the f7 pawn. Maybe queen f3 someday. Although he could always play knight h6 and cover the f7 square. So he takes. So black has a French-like formation going on. I was thinking knight e2 against this. Yeah, that's probably the best move. He can snatch on h5 if he wants. But then maybe c3, just stabilizing this whole central construction with the bishop on d4. And Piazza, I think you say all the time that I've lost weight. I think you were even saying this like 3 months ago. And I've pretty much always been around the same weight, so I don't really fluctuate too much. All right, knight ge7, so he's coming here, I guess. I think I need to play something like b3. Let's kick that queen out. Yeah, he goes back. Let's bring the knight up. I feel I'm playing a little too safe right now, as in I'm taking an extra second or two that could be handy at the end of the game. Okay, now he may not get this h5 pawn back, but he has good play otherwise. So c3, nah, let's move over. I think this is indicated. I might hide my king on g2 if given the chance. I played b3. It doesn't look like castling queenside is realistic, so yeah, let's try to scoot the king up there. Okay, now I'm going after this pawn. What are you going to do about that? Okay, that's what you're going to do about that. Well, okay. He still has a hard time castling because f7 always hangs, so let's just defend some stuff. Maybe here. Now that allows bishop d2. Let's do this instead. Nice maneuver. Very nice. Okay, we'll hide the king all the same. He takes. We'll go here. Yeah, now he's going to get the king to safety, though. My structure is highly suspect. Let's attack that bishop. Take, knight takes here. I think that might work. Yeah, I think this works. If f6, I have knight takes e6. It's a little complicated. He can play his queen into c3 somewhere. f6, knight takes e6, queen c3, but I have rook e3. There's also the point that after I take on e5, he might play f6. I should have considered that. Okay. Okay, but now the time is going to be the big thing. Okay, so we've got this conglomeration of pawns over here. I'm going to play f4 and then bring my knight up to f5. That's the plan. Do this. And I hope he's hard-pressed to defend against that. I hope. Stop this pawn for now. Push this guy. Pawn up to f6. We're coming after him. Had about 20 seconds on the clock, too. I think I need to reroute my knight a little bit. Let's check. Check. Gotta push these pawns. Yeah, now he can't stop us. We're getting h7 in and winning. All right, he resigned. So my knight plus the 3 versus 1 pawn majority on the king side carried the day there at the end. Although I feel like my position was worse around the time he got this bishop b4 to c3 maneuver in, eventually winning the e5 pawn. That was a nice idea by him. I'm feeling my way through these e4 positions, but I've mentioned in recent videos that I'm trying to sharpen up my repertoire, and a big part of that is playing e4 as white, pushing myself outside my comfort zone. Usually I'm a d4 player or a knight f3 player on move 1, sometimes even c4. And I used to play e4 when I was below like roughly 2300, and then I switched over to d4 and knight f3, which gave me good results, but now I want to bring it full circle and try to introduce more e4 games into my practice. Hey John, how do you generally rate the Budapest Gambit? Is it acceptable to play at high level? It's not a bad gambit. I do think with correct play, white gets a slim advantage, but you can say that about a lot of openings. In the main lines, it's not dangerous. I think the Budapest Gambit does have the outward appearance as being dangerous to white, but it's really not so long as you adhere to some basic rules and develop your pieces properly. There is a famous smothered gambit trap in the Budapest, but beyond those type of things, white should be fine. I posted a couple lines on Chessable in the d4 repertoire for white, showing how I think you should treat the Budapest Gambit. Basically, the Budapest Gambit is this line. So c4, e5, take, and then knight g4. And the thing is, I think not getting overly attached to this pawn. There are some lines where you will give the pawn back. But yeah, not getting overly attached to the pawn on e5 or a gambit pawn that you accept in general is a good idea. So if you want to see what I recommend for white in this line, go check it out on Chessable in the free 1d4 repertoire. Okay. Hey, John, what is your opinion regarding the upcoming World Championship? I think Magnus will win, and I've put Karyakin's chances at about 20% or so. I think that's pretty fair to Karyakin. I don't think he's any higher than 20%, but any lower would be not indicative of the reality of playing a 2750 plus player. I think he's probably closer to 2800. So Karyakin is very, very strong, one of the best in the world, youngest grandmaster of all time, but Magnus is a class ahead of him. And if Magnus gets the type of positions he wants, there's no stopping him. And if he can negate Karyakin's opening preparation in particular, I think it'll be a easy victory for Magnus. Thanks, Stas. I don't know what the halibut gambit is. I have no idea about that. Thanks for catching the stream, Ben. John, did Zach improve his chess? You're talking about Zach from, I believe, the second Chess Fundamentals video. As far as I know, Zach is still playing, although we haven't done lessons in a very long time. So, yeah, we actually stopped doing lessons maybe a month or two after that video. It had nothing to do with the video, of course. He was very gracious about agreeing to be in that. And that's a common thing. You know, I teach chess for a living, and I have many students I've taught for quite a while, like period of 1, 2, sometimes even more years than that. But also some students just kind of go in and out of lessons for various reasons. And also I'm taking breaks from teaching every once in a while. I don't teach like 12 months out of the year every single week. If Tony doesn't know what the halibut gambit is, then it must be a pretty obscure and or fake gambit. Mr. Spice, I'll try. I am playing e4, so if someone plays e5, I'll play a king's gambit, yes. I appreciate you asking that, Jory. He says, do you teach yourself or have any material that I can buy to support you while getting something informative out of it? I would say go over to Chessable. That's the site that I co-founded in February. And you can buy a repertoire there. You can buy a pro membership to the site. It's not an exorbitant amount of money. So if you're interested in kind of supporting what we're trying to do over on that side, I want you to like the site, of course, too. Like, definitely take a look at it and see if it's something you'd be willing to spend a few bucks on. But that would be my recommendation. Kareem asks, how many students do you teach per month? Well, I can tell you I try to aim for about 15 to 20 student hours per week, so teaching hours. Beyond 20, it gets to be a bit much. So I'd say at any given time, I probably have about 30 students because not every student takes a lesson every single week. Some of them are on bi-weekly schedules or monthly schedules. So it is a lot. I mean, it sounds like a lot too, but it's manageable for me. I've been doing this for a while, and it is manageable having that amount of students. I wouldn't go any higher, though. I can tell you that. I'm in the pool right now waiting to be paired. Worksma is the next opponent. I somehow feel e4. I knew he was going to play e4. All right, guys, get your fire emojis out. Get them out. Let's play knight f6. This might be the first time on stream that I'm playing the modern Scandinavian with knight f6 on move 2. Oh, I was hoping he'd play f3 and we get a Portuguese variation, but it is not to be. Okay, let's recover the pawn. So the the queen ended up on d5 anyways, but you know, that's not a completely unexpected development. I took with the queen to stop him from going queen to b5 check. That was the whole point of doing that. Okay, let's castle. So not the most exciting line, but if white had played f3 on move 4 instead of bishop e2, it very well could have been. Let's bring the queen over here. Maybe we can harass white a bit from that post, but I'm just going to play c6 and then bring the knight to d7. Maybe you could make an argument for putting the knight on c6, but I'm not going to mess around with that setup. Again, we have the so-called light square restriction structure with pawns on e6 and c6, which if you play the Scandi, you're probably very, very used to. Let's play h6, just so if g4, queen g6. Whoa, what is that move about? King f1. I have no idea why he would play that move. Okay, let's play rook fe8, just make a useful move. Almost looks like a mouse slip, king f1. Right? Kind of want to play bishop into b4. Let's actually bring the queen. That's going to invite a3 if we do that. c5 maybe? Not much there. Let's go a5. He might put the bishop on c7. I have a feeling he's going to do that at some stage to harass this rook. Okay, he's all right with the trade. I guess I'll take him up on that. Let's take again. I'll put the bishop on d6. He's got a time edge on us. He's playing quick. We're not playing as fast as we would like, I think. e5 looks very natural here. But if e5, can he play like king d1? Move his king away. I have e4 then. Let's try it. Let's see where he puts that king. Oh no, if king d1, I can just take. Okay, so this should be good for me. Or at least fine for me. Take on e3, king takes. Can I punish him anyhow? Any way? Don't think so. Just not much happening in this position. I'm just going to take. And then maybe play a move like h5. Let's play king f8. Bring the king closer for now. I think there's a good chance he'll play rook d1 and just look to trade. So we've got a very, very even position. I'm going to avoid another trade for the time being, just because I think it's more interesting to keep more pieces on the board. He's working that time advantage. Work that time advantage. Let's maneuver the knight. Try to go to e5. Probably he should react with a move like b3. He does play that. Let's go here, stopping any knight e4 business. I think putting the knight on c5 is a normal plan right now. I like the options I have with this knight. It can go to e5 or c5. I'd also like to expand. Maybe play g5 if I can. Let's give a check. Yeah, let's give a check. If king f4, I was thinking here. g5, try to push him back further. He's got to be a little careful now. I mean, it's not trivial. Okay, let's bring the knight in. I know we're offering a trade with this move. He might play f4. He does that. Okay. Let's play g5. King e3 probably. We can go here, attack this pawn. Let's bring the king up. It's annoying for him that he can't play h3 so easily. So I'm trying to get my king up to d4. If I could get it all the way up to d4, that would be great. These are the end games I like to play. Try to grind out this small advantage, right? I think this also showcases the danger of trading too many pieces. Just mindlessly trading. I get the sense that white wasn't putting a lot of thought into what pieces they were keeping on the board and which ones they were offering to swap off. This is a tough position. Black has a clear plan in mind. White has a tough time moving. If h4, I can play the check there. Okay, so he's going to probably bring the knight to b6. Let's do knight d3. I'm okay with the trade. I want to go knight c1 somewhere and go after this guy. It's a big threat, actually. I think check first. Force that king back. And I can probably pre-move that. Yeah, go after this pawn and check. Swap off the knights. Yeah, and he resigned. If the game were to proceed, knight takes c3, king takes c3, his king is not dangerous enough. We get the passed a pawn and just sprint to victory. So one thing to think about when you're trying to work with a very tiny advantage in a static position, often a symmetrical position, as we had here, like the pawns are facing each other. They're all on the same rows virtually. I mean, the queen side was a little bit different, but it's pretty symmetric. Try to extract small concessions from your opponent when setting up trades. And often you can do this by not being the first one to trade. You can wait to make the exchange and make them, if they want to go trade, like try to set it up, but thereby improve your pieces in the process. Let me just see if I can give you an example of that somewhere. Like this is a pretty good example right here. When I play knight d3, yes, I'm letting him trade off, but now my king is centralized and his is not. Whereas I feel if I would have traded rooks earlier, so let's say like right here, I could have played rook e6 check, king back to d2, rook takes e1, king takes e1, then his king is already in the center. It's going to be much harder to win that. So by the time that we got into this knight endgame, and I was able to play the knight to f4, white was already kind of struggling, I think. Dirty Dan asks, any tips besides tactics and hanging pieces for a 900 USCF to improve to 1200? You just got to play a lot, Dan. That's the most important thing. Play lots of games and serious games too. If you're playing online, play 15-minute games or longer, preferably with an increment, and especially play over the board. If you have a USCF rating, you're already playing over the board chess, then keep that up. You're going to get better just doing that. And analyzing your games afterwards. So try to draw some conclusions on your own about the games that you play, and then add in the engine to check. Or, potentially even better, try to find a training partner or someone who can mentor you, someone even a little bit higher than yourself, like say a 12 or a 1300. That's 300 or 400 points higher than you are right now. They could help you a lot, and they could point out stuff that is easy enough for you to understand. It's at your level, a little bit higher, but they're not going to like overwhelm you with their knowledge either. So if you can find someone like that and even play some practice games against, you'll improve even faster. Miles says, John, let's see you steer towards some major piece endgames today. That's a product of the positions. It's hard to steer it yourself towards major piece endgames. To that end, one thing I was thinking about the other day, I don't play a lot of queen endgames. I can't think of the last over-the-board tournament game that reached a queen endgame, like king, queen, and a bunch of pawns versus king, queen, and a bunch of pawns. For some reason, that type of endgame doesn't crop up very often in my practice. Rook endgames, on the other hand, are common to everyone. Hello, Simeon. He says hi from Bulgaria. Cole asks, hey, John, I started playing chess. I'm rated around 1650-ish on Lichess. That's very good if you just started out. I was wondering if it was worth it to get a coach. If you want to improve faster, I think it would be good to take a look into that. There are free resources out there that you can utilize on your own, and also resources that you pay for. But a coach is a pretty good investment. Like a good coach can really shorten the process. Like they'll still make you do work, but you'll just like coaching for anything, like you'll save a lot of time not spinning your wheels, knowing what to study versus just kind of walking around blind, looking at various things. Let's play another game. Arslan asks, how to improve rook and pawn endgames? There's some very good books for that in particular. So you could study, for instance, Jesus de la Villa's 100 Endgames You Must Know. Also, Amateur to IM has a great section on rook endgames, Jonathan Hawkins' book. So those are two great ones. You can study some excellent rook endgame players, like Rubinstein is one guy from the past. Also, Smyslov, the former world champion, Vasily Smyslov, would be a great guy to study. He wrote several books on the endgame. Are you planning to play one of the chess bras? Not at the moment, but I wouldn't mind playing one of them. I'm still in the pool waiting to be paired. I'm drinking tea right now. It's just peppermint tea. Trying to stay away from the caffeine in the afternoons and evenings. That's worked out well. Yeah, I hope Tony and I can play at some point. We were supposed to play once, and then I had a conflict and had to reschedule. So that was my bad. So Tony and I are due for like a dual commentary standard game match. It is taking a really long time to get games right now. My rating is decent, but not super high. The Chess Kid. All right, let's stick with e4. I feel like this is someone I should know. I should know who it is, but I'm not sure. Okay, let's play a bishop g5 Najdorf. See what he has in store against that. Kind of don't remember the theory in this line, so let's put the queen on d2. I'm not sure the queen coming to f3 is particularly good in this variation, so I'm going to intentionally shy away from that. Let's castle. I guess I'll play bishop d3. Go rook he1. Now, knight d5 is a typical resource, but is it good here? Knight d5, pawn takes, pawn takes. Compensation, I don't know about it. Other knight moves are kind of lame, though, is the thing. But maybe. All right, I'll play knight a4. This pawn is always hanging, I suppose. It's the case now. Let's play king b1. Maybe he'll just gambit that pawn, like castle, and allow me to take on b4. King b1's always helpful when that queen on c7 is staring you down. He doesn't really want to play a5 either. a5 would not be in the spirit of the position. Okay, so here, do I take on f6 and then take b4, or something else? Take on b4 right away, but he might snatch this guy. Let's invite him to do that. I think that's all right if he wants to play that way. If he takes on e4, his king is still in the center. Maybe I take on e7 at the very end and cause some issues. He does do that. Okay, let's take. Probably he should take with... I'm not sure which way. I would say king, probably. Queen takes, it feels like something bad is going to happen involving a knight f5 type move. Takes with the queen, okay. If I take here, he takes with the knight. But then I have knight f5. Okay, I think I can do this. If he takes with the pawn, I have queen a4 check. That's very important. Yeah, and on this, I think I have knight f5. And I'm going to go after either the g7 pawn or the d6 pawn, is the idea. So this is what I was talking about. With his king in the center and my rook on e1, there's some tactical opportunities there. So... Did someone get banned? Hi, Kozzi. Hello, Kozzi and Gwen. I take it someone got banned from what you guys are saying in the chat. We have a pretty liberal banning policy here. That is, we don't ban many people, but you gotta have some decorum. I think I know who it was who got banned, but... Alright, I guess I gotta play knight here. Actually missed rook g8. I was trying to set up knight takes e6, but I should have seen rook g8 coming. I am threatening bishop takes h7 now, which is nice. Guess I should take here. He can go take g2. His king is still pretty suspect. But, okay, queen takes here. Alright, I think I gotta do this. I want rook takes e6 to work somewhere. Like king e7, rook takes e6 would just be beautiful if it worked out, but I don't know that it does. Check, check, check. We've got perpetual ideas, but what else? Oh, that's so close to working. That's so close to working. Check, and then rook takes e6. But not quite. Okay, I'm going to play this, because I'm not sure. Just guarding this pawn. This feels like a lame move, but I've got 42 seconds, and I got to do something. Queen in. Okay, let's check. Check again. Let's play b3. Just try to force him away. Ooh, queen c3. Guess I have rook takes e6 then. Okay, he didn't do that. Let's check one more time. I'm going to go here. Just cutting off his rook, I guess, for the time being. Maybe rook e1 or rook D1, I mean. Is an option. He should probably take H2 right now, I feel. Let's go Rook takes D6 next. Unless he puts his queen here, maybe. Then Rook D4 could be good. Whoa, really? Don't think that works for you. Rook D8 coming. If he brings his rook back to C8, he's going to be in trouble. I'm just going to push this pawn now, because it'll be a pretty easy mate when we do. Okay, tactical fireworks abounding in that one. I think my position was very good when he decided to take on E4. Maybe black can get away with this, but I'm skeptical. This one's probably worth looking at least in the middle game, so I'm going to pause for a second and go take a look here. Because playing B4 does have an appeal in that he pushes my knight to a bad square. So B4, knight A4. Knight D5 is a common knight sacrifice you must consider in these types of positions, but I wasn't sure about it here. King comes over to D8. Usually white's queen is on F3 in these lines, as opposed to D2, so I wasn't sure how my compensation would unfold, or if I would have enough compensation. So I chose to play knight A4, and then soon went after the pawn on B4. I could maybe even take it right here after bishop E7, but I was leery of D5 with the discovery on my queen. So that's why I didn't do it at that juncture. So king B1, knight C5, take. And this is the moment of truth. Maybe black should just castle and play the position down a pawn, but by taking B4, I have opened the B file towards my king. So it's not a completely simple pawn to grab. There are ramifications to doing so. So he takes here. I take E7. Let's just see if king takes is better than queen takes. Computer thinks king takes is best, but it also thinks white has a almost winning attack. And now F5. Yeah, he can't castle. His king is stuck in the middle. What if he tries to keep lines closed? F6 check. It's nifty. And if pawn takes, I assume the knight is jumping in here, and then I'm taking on E4 next. Yeah, lots of bad stuff that can happen to him. So he took with the queen, and this was an important move. Knight takes C5. Because if he takes with the D pawn, then check here. And after the king moves, I can take on E4 at the very end. Maybe there's even stronger moves. Yeah, like knight C6 is also probably good. So he took with the knight and then knight F5, and the rook on E1 proves very handy. Fork on all three of these points. So queen C7. Knight takes D6 is a move I had here. I took the pawn on G7 without giving it too much thought, because that is a nice prize, and black will not be able to castle, but yes, I could see why this is stronger, because if queen takes, there's bishop B5 check, discovery on the queen just winning. And I believe the point is, if the king goes anywhere else, like let's say king F8, we simply take here. And if queen takes B7, then we take on C5. So we win a piece. Note that the knight is pinned. He cannot recapture that way. So that's crushing. So knight takes G7, not bad, but I probably gave black too much counterplay after this. The rook coming down to G2. I didn't exactly kill him from here. I really wanted to make something like this work. But it just wasn't happening. It wasn't quite there. His king is very open, but that doesn't mean I'm going to win with just my queen alone. Fun game, though. Hey, PFC. Glad to hear that, Edgar. He said he improved from 1200 to 1550 by watching my videos, or my videos helped him in doing so. Awesome. Keep going, man. Yes, Finns is circling the pool. Let's get back in there. John, do you like the two bishops or the two knights? Asks Hisham. It depends. Ooh, and we're playing Yasser Seirawan. This will be a fun game. Let's play a King's Indian attack. He used to be anonymous, but I see now he is fully embracing his GM title. Okay, all right, Yasser. An esteemed player. He was extremely strong in his day. And now one of the commentators for the St. Louis Chess Club in their U.S. Championship broadcast, Grand Chess Tour, Cinca Field Cup, all that stuff. So he is a much beloved figure in the chess world. Very soft-spoken and sincere guy. Never met him in person. But I'm sure if I did, he would probably treat me as a peer, even though I'm an IM and he's a GM. That just seems like the type of guy he is. Let's see if we can take him down in this game, though. That would be really nice. So I'm going to try to send my knight up to g4 and attack that pawn on h6. Just deciding if I want to do it now or if I want to play h5 first. Probably knight g4 now is good. I guess he puts the knight on f5, though. Didn't quite think that through. Okay, but this position should be okay still. Maybe queen d2 coming? Or a repositioning of this knight? And queen c1 might be more subtle. Let's do that. So if I can bait him into playing king h7, knight g5 is interesting, but probably not sound. Doesn't quite work. Knight f6, bishop takes. It's pretty simple for him. Maybe this is interesting. I'm going to try this. Again, not sure if it works, but I'll try it. So if queen takes, I have knight g5 check is my point, basically. I mean, it's a little coffeehouse-ish, but there's also some bishop takes h6 ideas. We've got some attacking potential here. And it's 3 minutes, so, you know, if it's murky, whatever. Like, almost everything is murky in 3 minutes. Yeah, Tony says to really appreciate Yasser and understand him, you got to see him live. And he's like the Mr. Rogers of chess. I think that's a pretty good comparison right there. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Okay, so he's going to sack an exchange. It's an intriguing decision. Well, clearly I should take it. Bishop e5. Yeah, I mean, his argument is that his position is probably easier to play here. Which, I mean, I can't really disagree with that. Gotta watch certain stuff like knight takes h4. Okay, let's do this first. Just a tactical retreat to attack the knight. Now I gotta get my queen active, so let's send the queen over here. Maybe h5 if I get a chance, but really I'm just trying to put the queen on f3 and kind of hang out for the time being. Okay, let's do this because it looks handy. His knights are tough to get through in the center, aren't they? Queen back to h8. It's kind of a funny move, but I see the point. So I need to play g4 somewhere, but it's not going to be easy. Take d5, not sound in the slightest. Let's get a piece up here. Try to double the rooks. Maybe I should play a3 first, I don't know. Let's not mess around with that. He's going to come in and invade. Attack those pawns. I knew I should have moved one of these pawns. Okay, maybe I need to set up a capture on f5 or something to truly get counterplay here. But I hope I didn't shoot myself in the foot. Can I take? That's probably not good. Interesting, but not good. Yeah, my structure is very tough to hold together is the problem now. All right, let's play b3. If he takes, I might take on e6. I know this is completely crazy looking, but I don't see what else to do, quite honestly. So let's see how he reacts. He can't play rook d8 at the end, which is one nice thing. Again, pretty skeptical, but hey, time pressure, mutual time pressure. Maybe something will turn up. It's not a position good for two rooks, because he had all his pawns remaining a moment ago until I took on e6. With all his pawns remaining, it's hard to get through his position, right? So what's he going to do with the knight now? It's attacked. I wanted to bait the queen out here so his queen couldn't come back to d7 to help defend the knight. Now if he moves the knight, I take a8, so that's his dilemma right now. Really? You're going to give this up? Okay. I guess we'll go here. Let's let him take some stuff. If he wants to take d3 and whatnot. He's running out of time, too. This is issue here. Yeah, I think he's just going to run out of time. That said, he's losing g7 as well, so the position was probably losing for him at the end. Setting up bishop takes g7, even rook takes g7, but mostly bishop takes g7. Rook takes e6. Well, that was the turning point in the game, no doubt, because if I don't have this move, I feel I'm just going to lose this game. I got to get some open lines. I got to break through somehow. The only other breakthrough I was really looking at here was g4, so trying to attack his knight. But the thing is, with g4, he takes with the pawn, and his structure remains intact. I create weaknesses if I ever play that move. So let me just go to that moment, because that was kind of interesting what happened right there. Yeah, so b3, because if we do rook takes e6 right away, and this happens, then he can support the knight with queen back to d7 at the very end. And I think I just come up short here. There's no good follow-up. Although maybe I have this move. I didn't see this retreat. You can play knight c7, though, helping to defend the rook, which is also a move he could have considered in the game continuation as well. So going back for a moment, b3, queen takes a2, and rook takes e6, because as I was saying, if g4 take, I can take either way. I don't know, let's say take with a rook, but what am I really achieving here? Even if I take with the queen and I get to play h5, it's still a ways from penetrating black's defenses. He could play something like rook h8. That seems like a Yasser-like move to stop the h5 advance, and his structure is just perfect. Mine is fractured. I'm equal on material, but strategically just busted. Just a strategically destitute position. So let's see if the computer likes rook takes e6. Cha-ching! All right. I like it when my sacrifices work out. Yeah. So we sack the rook, but then he has problems coordinating. I thought that knight c7 might be the best try, so attacking here, but I was looking at stuff like this, and then if rook c8, maybe queen f4, although now I see there's issues with that. Queen f4, he can... maybe queen f4 is okay. Yeah, it's still +2, but even better is, in response to knight c7, queen b7, pinning the knight and denying the rook the c8 square. And his queen is a ways away from assisting in the defense. So, as played, he moved the king away and tried to marshal his defenses, bring the rook over. I missed a good move here, bishop f6. Yeah, that makes sense. But I feel the position should be very close to winning. Getting the bishop in on f6 is helping our attack quite a bit, because it eyes the g7 square, and we're preparing a check on the 7th rank. And he was soon down on time. Yeah, queen e5, just trying to stop a check on e4, but mostly attacking the knight. Senator Joe McCarthy, welcome to the stream. He's going to be rounding up the communists, because that's what Senator Joe McCarthy does. Red Scare and all that. Shameful time in U.S. history, if you ask me. I think if you ask most people. I wish I got a second GM norm because of that game. How's it going, Kieran? I think that's how you pronounce your name. Ben Affleck. Okay, I'm going to play one more game and then maybe answer a couple questions and call it quits, because I got to go at about 15 past the hour, and it's almost at the top of the hour. So let's play one more game. Hi, Eli. Glad you enjoy the videos. John, would you rather lose one limb or never play chess again? I'd have to give up chess, unfortunately. I love this game, but I value my body parts even more. So, yeah, not sacrificing an arm or a leg for chess. Although these days you could probably get a really, a very nice prosthetic, so might not be so bad. Might even be better than your original limb. I wonder what John rates his chances in a long time control game over the board against Yasser. I would be a dog for sure, an underdog. But hey, he's not playing tournaments. He's probably a bit rusty, even though he plays online and he does commentary. So I'd have a decent chance. Maybe 30, 40%. What's your favorite book, non-chess related? I really like 1984. George Orwell. John, please adopt me. Nah, I can't do that. Have you been watching the Euros, John? Do you watch football or soccer at all? No, I do not watch much soccer, unfortunately. We're playing a Scandinavian against Blue Shark 23. Let's play another knight f6 line. It worked in the other game. Let's see if this guy wants to go into a Portuguese variation. They always seem to decline it. Yeah, he also plays bishop e2, declining it. Okay, let's stick with the knight this time. And if c4, we'll send the knight over to b6. How about that? Just attacking this pawn. And develop from here. This has like a Alekhines defense flavor. And I know I'm pronouncing Alekhines improperly. It's just kind of the Americanized way of pronouncing it. I think it's more noticeable to people when you say it that way versus El Johin or the correct pronunciation. Okay, a5 I'm thinking, just gaining some space. Yeah, let's do that. Try to stab on the side of the board. Blue Shark has chosen a logical setup. I like what he's doing. Okay, so at least we can use the b4 square now. That's something. Let's get our knight in. He'll probably play queen e4 and hit this pawn. Now he goes there instead. I'm going to maneuver this knight because I feel like this knight is not very good now that he has pawns on c4 and a4. Let's play queen c8. Some shadow boxing going on. Let's play this knight to f6. Rook over to d8 next, I'm thinking. This is very interesting. Okay, c6. The other thing I was thinking about was b6 and put the queen on b7. Not sure about it, though. So he seems content to build up his position right now. And I can't blame him. All right, let's get ready to double. Try to attack d4 in the long run, right? I can't take d4, unfortunately. He's got it sufficiently defended. f5, f4 could be nifty if I could ever get that in. It's not going to work right now. What about e5? e5 just trying to swap some stuff. e5, he can't play d5 in reply, so it might not be a bad idea. Yeah, I think after all the trades, it should work out to equality. So take, rook takes d2, and then eventually take on e5. We'll see which way he takes. He might take with the bishop. He takes that way. Okay, so let's do this. Go take e5. And he's going to play with the knight and queen versus the bishop and queen. The knight and queen is a good combo, so I can see his desire to do that. I'm putting pawns opposite to the color of my bishop. Okay, let's do this. Probably queen here is best. He's playing really fast. That knight is a bother. I gotta get rid of that piece somehow. Let's go h6. Maybe f5. I'm considering the f5 move. Can I make progress otherwise? I don't know. He's pushing pushing ahead. All right, let's do it. This might be unnecessary lashing out, but we'll see. Let's go here. He could bring his queen back here, to e8, rather. While I'm busy trying to defend my... Okay, against that one I can... I can't take there. Oh, that's annoying. I thought I could take on f4, but I can't. So I got to give a check and then trade queens, probably. Yeah, this is basically forced, I think. But I might have enough to draw. This is probably just fine for me. Can he do this? Aren't you going to be in trouble here, buddy? I think I'm winning now. Yeah, I'm going to get around and win. King c3, king b1. Unless he has some weird stalemate ideas, but I doubt it. Yeah, he resigned. Whew, we win the final game of the session with some technique right at the end. I almost went for queen c1 followed by queen takes f4 right here, but he has knight h5 check, forking the king and the queen, and I lose. That was touch and go because my king was exposed. He was advancing on the king side, and I made the decision to play f5 because I didn't like his knight on e4. It's too well centralized. So I tried to push it away by playing this f5 move. And I think this endgame is fine. Once I realized that I could trade queens on d2, it's totally fine. I mean, maybe he's in big trouble here. I thought it was a draw, but if he can't move his knight without losing this pawn, yeah, white could just be suffering. And that pawn endgame was instructive because my king comes around, but even then, it's not so easy to win. You have to play some waiting moves like right here, c5, denying him king d4, but more importantly, putting in zugzwang. And then king c2, king a2. Yeah, and we're squeezing him out. He has to go here to defend the pawn, and then we outflank king b1, and we're going to win the b3 pawn. King d2 or king d3, king b2, win the pawn. A pawn will fall. His king can't infiltrate anywhere, so our f5 pawn is safe. Win the game. Thanks for the fire emojis. Yeah, it was a good stream. I always enjoy chatting with you guys, and I managed to play well as well. Let's just take a look at the results. Did I only lose the one game? I lost the second game, that queen h7 mate game, or queen h8 mate game. But otherwise, yeah, I won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6-1, including that game against Yasser with rook takes e6. And did I win all my e4 games? I played e4 as white in 4 games, and I was 4-0. Including against some tough players. Kippy was a GM, Sarambi was 2500. I am the chess kid, that was that Sicilian game, and then Yasser. All right. Thanks for the offer to stay in Dresden, Germany, whoever offered that. Not sure, the crazy. I'm not sure when the next Play Magnus video will be out. Hopefully soon. But I am loath to promise anything because I don't want to promise something I can't deliver. I've got a lot of other videos I want to make too. Thanks, Sean. I'll play another Lee Chess Bullet video, Senator McCarthy. I will do that soon. Nipsudis, I don't have a streaming schedule. The streaming I do right now is very much ad hoc. It's just whenever I have time. But I am attempting to do it more often. I'm aiming for like maybe 2 streams a week. If I can do even more, I will. Follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is in the description to this video. Follow me on Twitter for stream announcements. There's also YouTube announcements, but because I often don't schedule my streams too far in advance, Twitter is the best way to follow. Alan, I teach in Tucson July 10th through the 14th. So I'll be gone like July 9th through the 15th. Thanks, Cam. I've never visited Ireland, no. Pure Cheese asked, what should a beginner learn, endgame or openings first? definitely endgames. You should get a solid backbone in endgames. A book like Amateur to IM, Silman's Complete Endgame Course, 100 Endgames You Must Know is very good, maybe a little advanced. All those books are good. Openings are not hugely important at the beginner level, although they are becoming increasingly important, I think. You want to know at least a few moves in common directions. Like if you're white, you want to know what to do against e4, e5. As black, you want to know what to do against e4 because you'll see e-pawn openings constantly. Beyond just memorizing lines, though, you also want to know general opening principles like controlling the center, developing your pieces quickly, castling, all that good stuff. Glad to hear that, Alfred. Thank you. Keep up the improvement. Yes, I did, Adam. I'll be out in Tucson, Arizona, July 9th through the 14th or 15th. Stas, I think Anton just linked it to you. Courtesy of Kozzi. Thank you, Kozzi, for the thumbnail and the Finns FAQ. Coach Amur, I will do a Lee Chess stream, yes, at some point. I think this ICC template is, I agree with Sean, I think it's an ideal one for playing, but also talking to you guys. So I do prefer ICC for streaming, but I will do more on Lee Chess as well. Okay, I gotta run, guys. It is almost 10 past, and I gotta be somewhere in like 5 minutes. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. We played some good chess today. Hope you guys like the E4 games. Definitely subscribe to my channel if you do not already. Also follow me on Twitter for stream announcements if you want to know when I stream, because that's the first place I post every time when I say I'm going to stream. And thank you for any likes and shares. If you send this video or any of my videos to another chess player, or even a non-chess player, just to get them interested in the game, I really appreciate that. We're trying to spread chess, and I've got over 1,100 videos on my channel now, so there are other channels that are great, but I do think even beginning players can learn a lot, like from the Chess Fundamentals series and just watching my standard games and stuff like that. So I very much appreciate your support in that regard. All right, thanks everyone. Talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.